Hi, my name is Ulrich. I'm a freshman, so 15, and I will be playing Demersseman's original theme, and it was made to actually promote the saxophone. So, yeah. that was Miss J came on piano.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. This is wonderful to have you perform this morning. It's hard to be first. It's always hard to lead off. Have you ever played for this many people in this type of a space before?
I don't think so, not by myself at least.
Yeah, it's a first for you. You're just a freshman, correct?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Good for you. Are you taking private lessons right now?
Yes.
Okay, that shows. I mean, that's very evident to me that you have some training going on beyond your school band, and you should be commended for that. And are you preparing this for a solo festival? Do you have a contest coming up?
So actually, I was preparing this specifically for this master class,
Wonderful.
just as like a challenge for myself.
Sure.
Because I never really played anything this hard before. And I want to keep working on it afterwards, just so maybe I can do this one.
Yeah. Throughout high school, throughout the U.S., you see a lot of, this time of year, you see a lot of the solo and ensemble festival competitions that happen in the school districts. So oftentimes, this is one of those pieces that are going to be quite suitable for those type of contests. You might kind of find some other spaces for this piece. We don't have a lot of time to talk, and I think it's a chance to just maybe bring a few things to your attention that you can think about. I do want to say that for what you're doing as a freshman right now, as a ninth grader, right? This is a piece that hits on a lot of topics and is a very good piece for you. We can think of this piece as propelling us forward into the literature that starts to become more and more of what is more modern concert repertoire, but we have a piece here that is meant to be the building blocks of saxophone. This is one of the very first pieces ever written for the instrument. The composer, Jules Demersseman, was a friend of Adolphe Sax. So Adolphe Sax was quite an entrepreneur and an innovator and quite a promoter, self-promoter, and he was getting to every composer he could to say, please write for this instrument, I just made it. And so that is kind of crazy to think of, as even in today's standards, you couldn't do anything like that. You couldn't build an instrument and then go to the North Carolina Symphony and say, hey, will you use this in your orchestra? That doesn't happen. But that's literally what the man was doing. Building an instrument and then saying, please use it, going door to door. Maybe not literally, but he was certainly doing that. So we have a piece here that sits as our foundation of a lot of technical work and the mechanics of the instrument, which was much more crude than the instrument now. I mean, the instrument now is quite accessible by comparison. The very early saxophones were a little more rudimentary. They had less keys on them, and they were very flimsy instruments. If you've ever seen an Adolphe Sax instrument and you pick it up, it's super light. It's very light, and you could almost just bend it with your hands. It's so light. One thing I'd like to say, because is this your first time playing the piano?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Good. This is a totally different experience than when we're just in our rooms, in our bedrooms practicing. And I remember the same feeling. 7th, 8th, 9th grade. The first time I was playing with piano, I felt that it was in some ways creating a distraction, when in fact, it is 100% of the music.
Yeah.
It's not just about you. So in that regard, I actually want to bring you closer together, okay? I don't think we'll move the piano, I think we'll move you. You are part of what we call a duo. This is a team effort. And the other element of this is that you have a little more connection with the sound of the instrument if you can be closer to the strings. You'll have a little more communication here. We're a little bit constricted in this room. If I was playing with piano, I'd probably be more here than I would be in the crook here. So this is going to help a little bit. And the other aspect of this, and I think this is where we start to make music with another person, is you need to know their part just as well as yours. That's the next step in any preparation. We call that score study. So you would start to spend a little more time with the piano part, just paying attention to where those points of arrival are. And an important thing in this is also cueing. What do I mean by the word cueing?
Maybe like kind of giving like information like what you do and when you come in or something like
Okay. So are you in a school band right now?
that. Yes, I am.
Okay. So what would cueing be from the conductor's standpoint?
Like cueing people in when they're like about like like maybe helping them come in, I guess you could say.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, what's one way the conductor would do that? Okay.
Like pointing at them.
Okay, yeah, so there's gonna be a gesture, a physical gesture that's inviting the groups to come in, right? Here is one. Do that with me. Here is one. Yeah, so there's kind of a prep. Here is one. Do that with me. Here is one. So there's moments like this in this part that you can help the pianist. Now, she's doing wonderfully, so she was just sort of like latched onto you. But it shouldn't be their job to follow you. It's our pianist's job to feel like they are part of the experience, and they're not just the background.
Yeah.
This sometimes happens with very, very young, I mean, really young students. We say, like, we don't have the luxury in the wind world, instrument world, to start students as early as 3 years old. But you can reduce a violin to a smaller size, and you can start children as early as 3 or 4 years old in the violin. We cannot do that on a saxophone without it becoming exponentially harder. If you were to hand a young child a soprano saxophone or a sopranino saxophone, suddenly the instrument is much more advanced to play. An alto saxophone hits exactly about what we need to do as beginners. So you'll see this with the little ones. They're just there playing. You know, they're playing their Suzuki methods and whatnot, and they're just not listening to the piano at all sometimes, right? We need to invite them to be part of the experience. So there's just a couple of spots like that were catching my attention, that you were just taking off and playing and just expecting her to find you. And that it's always going to be good manners to say, here's where my downbeat is. Where are those spots? Where might be those spots where it's important that you cue the pianist? There's a few of them.
I feel like maybe here.
That's a good spot. Can we try that spot? So this would be before F. 1, 2, 1 measure, 2. So it would be 8 bars. It would be your interlude. So it would be 8 bars before he comes in at the pickups to F. So the pickup is important. You're going to have to show that pickup. And so if the tempo is being set before that, you're just going to land on beat 3. But I think you would like to put a little hold on that, if I'm not mistaken. It sounds like you want to put a slight fermata. Okay. Can you sing that for me? What you would like to do?
Da, 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 da.
Okay, so let's put that in a metric context. So 1, 2. Da, da, is that about right? So when you do that, one more time.
Yeah.
And cue this with me. Conduct this with me. So 3, 4 would be 1, 2, 3, 1. So you're wanting to put a little fermata on that. So let's write that in for ourselves as a little reminder, a little fermata mark. That's a discussion. That's a rehearsal discussion. Okay, she's going to hear that, but you need to show it. So that's the physical embodiment, conducting. Now, how might we show that with the instrument? I think we have to actually practice cueing.
Like maybe like a body gesture. Like
Okay, so this is where we start to practice cueing, and it needs to reflect essentially a conducting gesture. So 1, 2. Okay, so that's going to be very clear in that situation that the conducting is built into the physical gesture, right? So if we've never played together, that's enough information for her to pick up. So 1, 2. Can you practice that? So you're going to do 1, out, so down, out, up. On the up is when you take the sound. Okay, so 1, 2. Sorry, it's okay. This is hard. Like this is the next steps. So it's down, out, 3, 1. So down, out. Let's go this way. Yeah, like a conductor would. So 3, 4 it would be 1, 2. To your right. To your right. There we go. And then up. There. Yeah. So if we're in a playing position, 1, 2. You just practice that. 1, 2. Everybody ready? 1, 2. Now you don't have to be so physical about it. What needs to happen is that you're checking in on that, so that you don't just start playing.
Okay.
So part of that is letting her play this, so you can hear how this bar works. So we're going to hear the double bar there. This would be after the the 8 bars. So the 8 bars before F. Show the 1.
Okay.
That's just hard. This is like starting to actually have a bit of body awareness. Like when we start talking about cue, like it becomes part of performing. We could talk about so many technical things, but like this was the number one thing that was causing the performance to break down, was communication. And that's body awareness, but you're only a freshman. I mean, this is stuff that we talk about even with college students. Just communicating and being mindful of your space. One of the first things you can start doing now is you're never too young to start practicing conducting. You might be a school drum major one day. You might decide that you go to college and you're interested in being a school teacher, school band teacher, or an orchestra conductor, or anything. You would start this kind of rudimentary understanding of how 4/4 and 3/4 work. Then it starts to play out in your prep. Right? So basically, I'm going to have these slight variations of meter in the way I hold the body. So let's actually practice that. We're going to go 1, 2, so down, out, up. There's your upbeat. That's your prep. So I'm probably even going to breathe just before that. So let's practice that. Ready? 1, 2, 2. We're going to breathe.
Okay.
Right? 1. Ready? Together, and 1, 2. Let's practice. We're going to practice that inference. Here we go. On that bar. Here we go. Here's that bar. And 1. Breathe. Yeah, it's together. Yeah, it's together. She's catching you. But imagine it wasn't a professional and you were working with another student. You would have to rehearse that even more. Right? So let's put that in, and then I want you to play this section, just so we can play a little more music, and then we'll need to move on here in a second. But this was a spot where it all started to break down a little bit. Here we go. Ready? So let's do the pickups again, or sorry, the 8 bars before again, and you got to count along. That's not the tempo you had earlier. There you go. That was the so let's make the fermata, and then you've got to set your time. Okay, so here's the fermata. 1, 2, hold. There's another spot where you can communicate. So, see that tenuto? So we're going to put we're basically saying that this is, I'm going to write over that word, cue. Okay? I really want you to show what you want to do with the downbeat. You're going to just show, because you're deciding, you learned to do it that way. You've either been coached to do it that way, or you've listened to a recording maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're imitating something. But now you have to be in the present. You actually have to communicate that thing that's in your head, right? So let's play this bar. All right, then you're going to show the downbeat again, right there on that bar. So this is the 6th tempo of the bar. Ready, go. Okay, but not bad. This is hard. I get this. Let's try it again. This is good. Ready, go. Look at her. Can you look at her on that G? That would be so nice. I mean, you don't have to turn. You don't have to turn. You can just sort of you can just sort of invite her to play. Okay, right there. Yes, that's better. Let's do it again. Reinforce that. That's good. That's rehearsing. This is rehearsing. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. That's right on. I'm distracting you a lot, am I? So here we go. Ready, go. To show, right? Can you show that? Yes, thanks. That's communication. Can we do this pickup? This is the pickups into his rolling triplets. It's okay. So that's where you write over these notes an arrow, and then I'm going to write the abbreviation PNO, piano, okay? I'm writing an arrow there that shows that you show the piano to come in there. They'll need to know exactly what you want to do there. Okay, can you just practice that? Da-da-da-da-da-da, show the piano. This is great. Now this is, because we're out of time really, but this is, you're embarking on a new dimension of music making. This is not simply now learning my part, showing up and hoping that it stays together with the piano. And I had to experience the same thing when I was your age. It was like I had to get out of this tunnel vision that happens when we practice by ourselves. When you're a soloist, where you're playing a solo piece. In this case, it's only half of the composition, right? It's only half the composition. So this gets us, and then the minute a pianist feels like that you are engaging with them, it literally just leads to more positive music making. There's a higher morale. She gets it. She's working with students. She knows that you're dealing with these new things. But if you get into, you know, collegiate level playing, you get into the professional world, if you completely are not speaking to the pianist when you play, then they're going to feel disconnected to you. So this will be something that you write in every spot that you want to show the downbeat. And that's then starting to do this, okay? Do you have any quick questions?
Not right now, but probably at the end.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
You're doing a wonderful job, Luke. What a great way to start our morning. Thank you so much.